I'm Michael Reiser, and welcome to Living with COPD Part 10. In this program, I'm going to address the issues of intimacy and sex for the COPD patients. For most of us, the issues of intimacy and sex are very important to the management of both our mental and physical health, as well as the overall management of our COPD. Now, some of you may have noticed that your sex life may have decreased since you were diagnosed with COPD. This can be attributed to several reasons. The top two being: one, your fear of becoming short of breath may curb your desires, or two, certain types of medications will most certainly reduce your sex drive. Now, keep in mind that none of the medicines that you take for your COPD should cause a decline in your sex drive. Although, if you suspect that one of your medications could be causing a problem, speak with your doctor about exploring the use of possible alternative medications that will work best for you. Now, another major cause is that our partner often feels that they should back off because they think they would be doing us more harm than good. But as you'll see, for most of us, it's just the opposite. It's more beneficial than harmful. Another catalyst for the decrease in our sex life could be the depression that's so often seen in COPD patients. And last but certainly not least is that as we grow older, we do tend to slow down a little more naturally. Now, the definitions for intimacy are many, but some consider intimacy as a physical closeness, and to a much lesser degree it is. But it's so much more. It's the bearing of secrets of the mind, body, and the soul to another individual, which does often culminate in the act of making love. It's presenting your complete self in a vulnerable state to others for a greater reward, and that being love and affection. It's the intimacy that rewards us, the familiarity, the warmth, the affection, and the closeness that come with family and close friends. In short, intimacy could be considered as the root to our basic emotional comfort. It shelters us from the negative events we face daily. It allows us a safe place to lie down to heal and process the daily confusions in our lives. We can relax and just be ourselves. With COPD, any form of relaxation is good, but this is one of the best. And through intimacy, you can find the emotional support that you need to get through many of life's trying times, including those presented by COPD. Now, in order for you to have a successful and healthy sex life with your partner, or if you're single, your potential partners, you need to be direct and open about what you and your partner want to expect out of sex. For some, initiating this conversation can be difficult. If this is the case, try an intimate phone conversation, or perhaps writing a letter. Anything, just get the conversation started in the right direction. Now, whether your sexual desire is the product of fueling the fires of passion and intimacy, or dousing the flames of raging hormones, the physical act of sexual intercourse can be considered simply as a form of exercise. It works a certain muscle groups. It raises your heart rate. It increases respiration rate, and it burns calories. Now, as we've learned so far, we know that exercise is good for the mind, body, and soul. It tones our muscles so we can use our oxygen more efficiently. It increases our metabolism so we can burn calories more effectively. It increases our endurance levels, aids our immune system, and it helps reduce depression, and the list goes on and on. So if your doctor says you can exercise and you can climb one flight of stairs at a normal pace, or do a brisk half-mile walk, there is absolutely no reason, as far as your COPD is concerned, that you shouldn't be able to live a healthy, satisfying sex life. Now, some of you may not be able to climb the stairs at a normal pace or even do a brisk half-mile walk, but still be able to be sexual and intimate. Now, here it becomes a matter of testing the waters, so to speak. So my advice to you would be to start off slowly and learn your limitations. Understand that because of your COPD, certain sexual positions may no longer be an option to you. So be prepared to experiment by trying alternative positions that work for both you and your partner. Now, some of the little tips you might want to consider is, one would be to to get fit. You need to start an exercise program to get into shape to enjoy a healthy sex life. Maybe walking and gentle exercises to start, or preferably a pulmonary rehabilitation program would be the ideal situation. Plan the right time. Those of us with COPD are most energetic during certain times of the day. So the problem is that we're all different as to when those times are. And one good idea is to plan for when your long-acting medication would be working at its peak. That would be to help you reduce any shortness of breath that you might encounter. And another way to help reduce your shortness of breath even more is your quick recovery inhaler. Take that medicine 15 minutes prior to having sex, and that should help benefit you greatly. Now understand that shortness of breath during sex is a normal thing, and even for healthy people. But it should not cause you dangerous respiratory rate levels, and if at any time you feel the need to stop and rest, then do so. Keep in mind that doesn't mean you must stop everything. There is no reason why you can't continue to caress and touch one another while resting. And number 4 tip here would be use a fan. A cool, gentle breeze over the face will help move any pockets of air that you've exhaled away from you, so your breathing does not become distressed. And last but not least, avoid alcohol and heavy meals. You want to wait at least 2 to 3 hours after a heavy meal before having sex. Digestion requires a considerable amount of oxygen and will cause you to become short of breath sooner. Not to mention that when you've eaten a heavy meal, all that food is lying down there and it's actually putting pressure on your diaphragm, so it won't move as far and you won't be able to take in the breaths as efficiently as you need to do. So try to keep that part in mind too. Now, for those of you who are on oxygen, check with your doctor about the possibility of increasing your oxygen flow during periods of physical exertion. Now remember, your goal is not necessarily to have an orgasm, but to have the most intimate time possible. Sometimes you'll have an orgasm, sometimes not. But through all we endure, just trying to cope with our COPD, our need and desire for love and sex and intimacy still linger within us. Perhaps love actually does conquer all. I'll see you next time on Living with COPD. Until then, breathe well, good people. Breathe well. For more information about sex and intimacy, go to these fine websites: